Hello, I'm Tan the Tan BOTC channel. We're using Skyrim's ambiance and just me looking over the horizon. It'll probably do the 360 camera around my character, which I actually tried to get as close to Cutter from the book I'm going to be reading, or the series of books, because technically this is a big volume. I actually have a video that might have just popped up on the channel just showing my essential fantasies. And I usually go with the first volume of Elfquest, as not only does it have a bunch of the books, but it's a good starter place because it's literally got the starting place of Elfquest. Delicious. I got some cherry soda with me. Just drink in case my throat gets tired out reading in some of these characters' voices. Where did we leave off? We left off on the next book, which was Raid at Sorrow's End. It actually took like less than 39 minutes technically because I talked through both the beginning and the ending of the previous video on this. So I would probably take away a couple minutes from that, maybe 5. So it'd probably be 34 minutes. And I could do videos, but I thought I might as well do a live stream. There's some days I can do it for much longer. And today might be that day. I was trying to figure out which Witcher book as well to start with. Because for some reason, Blood of Elves got taken out as my first book to read. And then I realized, wait a minute, The Last Wish is technically one of the first Witcher books published, even though The Witcher's barely in it. I think similar thing with Sword of Destiny. But he is in it. Anyways, we're going to start. So this is a story by Wendy and Richard Penny, of course, or by Wendy Penny. And Raid at Sorrow's End on page 41. I've been nervous about reading this series because I don't know how I'm going to portray the voices of the characters. I've heard the audio book series, the live stream they've been having too, where they hired some voice actors to do the voices of different characters. I still don't know personally how I would approach them though, so my voices may not be excellent. I kind of did Cutter's voice as my own voice, but maybe a little gruff around the edges, because I thought that would be kind of cool. Like, hey, I'm named Tam. It'd be cool if I used just my own voice, but a little bit more rough edge to it. But yeah, that would be. I didn't know otherwise what to go with. And I'm not good at doing like regular character, like people voices, kind of like Superman's voice is just an ordinary kind of gentleman, heroic voice of testosterone. Where I like doing the more unique voices, deeper voices, so that your gravelly voices, whatever it may be. But yeah, once in a while I have one of those more normal voices that I can do, or like to do, or figure out that I can do. So yeah, I hope you enjoy nonetheless. And read alongs, basically, I would do this with my camera, but not only does my phone not record long enough, but it would be very awkward. So if you have a copy of the volume or any one of the comic books, as long as you feel like you want to get it out, or if you have it as a collector's item, you don't need to. Maybe you have a backup or a spare issue of what we're going on that you can read along and follow along with the pictures and the dialogue and such. And tell me how I'm doing so far, too. Like, I don't know how. Like, the singing parts, I will say once again, are always hard for me. I feel like I'm going to have that same problem and get nervous with that, and frickin' when reading Lord of the Rings, because there are songs in that. I remember when I was reading The Hobbit again, I was like, oh god, I forgot that frickin' dwarf song they sing around the table when they first meet. I was like, god damn it, gotta sing that. This is embarrassing. because I don't know exactly what rhythm to go with, and I feel kind of awkward doing it. Honestly, and I don't know if you feel the same or cringe or whatever, so I'll just roll with whatever I can. Um, I have a goddamn lot of books to get to, so let's just get into this. Betrayed, tricked into a wrong passage, way by the vengeful trolls, the wolf riders confront not a promised woodland refuge, but a sun-scorched scene, utter desolation. Cutter, don't blame yourself. We all underestimated the treachery of the trolls. It's my fault, lad. If the truth be told, Picno's caught me off guard. Your father would have tied me in knots for letting that happen. My father had a rotten temper. May the High Ones keep his soul. Still, I can't help but feel he'd have handled this better than I did. Bearclaw would never have tried to reason with the trolls, and he'd never have had even a little faith in Greymung's word. Listen, lad, we all wanted to believe there'd be a new Holt waiting for us here. The decision to try for it wasn't yours alone. Thanks, Tree Stump. But no matter who's to blame, one thing is certain. This new land of ours is a death trap. Well, we can't stay in here forever. But it looks like we can't go back overland either. These cliffs are sheer and there's no getting around them. You know, Skywise, even if we could go back, there's nothing left of the Holt but ashes. I guess the lodestone didn't bring us much luck, did it? Hey, look at that. No matter how it spins, pointing in the same direction, it always ends up pointing in the same direction. Their dire predicament forgotten for the moment, the Wolf Riders marvel at the lodestone's newly discovered property. It's magic! Well, I'll be. One end points back the way we came, and the other end points. Cutter, I think it's a sign. The tunnel is sealed behind us, so whatever hope we have must lie out there in that strange empty land. But maybe it's not so empty. Surely the trolls never explored it. Not in that sun. That's right. They let us here, hoping we'd die of starvation and thirst. But there could be food and water beyond those hills. Couldn't there, Cutter? Maybe, Nightfall. Maybe. Skywise, will the sun set? Cutter asks. Yes, answers his friend. That at least we can depend on. Then we will cross this land in the cool of night, decides Cutter. The lodestone may yet bring us luck. Darkness comes at last, and with it an unexpected bitter cold. The desolate open spaces, infinite sky above, are overpowering to these little folk who have dwelt lifelong in wooded shelter. Only Skywise does not flinch from the piercing brilliance of the stars. Only he feels more wonder than fear. Cutter, I think I've discovered the secret of the lodestone's magic. Look up. There, see? The hub of the great sky wheel, the only star that remains fixed while all the others whirl around it. See how it pulls at the lodestone? I guess so, Picnose said. The big rock we chipped it from fell from the sky. Could the lodestone be a piece of that star? It could be. I'm going to mark the one end so we can always tell our direction. Careful! You don't know what evil magic you may release. There's nothing evil in the stars, Cutter, or in anything that comes from them. Shortly before daybreak, the wolf riders make camp, lacing their leathern cloaks together to form a shade. The hungry wolves, meanwhile, roam about in search of food, but the barren dunes yield precious little to sustain so many. As it must, sunrise comes, and soon the merciless sands are ablaze with an all-consuming heat. Though hardy and strong in their forest domain, the wolf riders have never faced extremes such as this. Twilight at last. There's never been a longer day. Break camp! It's time to move on. Tonight's the true test, Skywise. The heat has drained us all, and we've not enough water left to make one full skin. Don't worry, the lodestone will guide us. We've come a long way already, and we're holding up pretty well, considering. I'll accept Redlance. He's not complaining, but I know the humans hurt him inside somehow. By the wandering stars! Am I imagining things? Scouter, get your hawk's eyes up here. There in the distance. What do you see? Mountains, cries Scouter. Mountains! Praise the high ones. Soon we'll see trees again. Don't be hasty, Moonshade. Listen, all of you. We've sighted a range of mountains, but they're still a long way off. We've got to make our water last as long as possible. At the sight of the tribe's gaunt and weary faces, a grim resolve grips Cutter. The night wears on in deadly silence. No one speaks, for words would only grate through parched throats, causing more misery. In all the vast, arid land, only the labored panting of the wolves is heard as Cutter's valiant tribe presses on. They'll reach the mountains alive. Even if it's my blood, they must drink. Dawn approaches. The wolf riders prepare to survive the day in the shade of a pillar of rock. The dunes are behind them, and now the stony desert floor presents an even harder path to cross. Mountains are beautiful in this light. So near yet so far. We'll make it. We have to. For many, hope is all that sustains them through this second terrible day. And by evening, there is one for whom little hope is left. Redlance, it's time to go. No, Cutter. You know as well as I that I must stay here. He can't ride, my chief, and I won't leave him. Nightfall. Shh, it's decided. Forgive me. If I had killed that old man when I had the chance, none of this would have happened. We are hunters, Cutter, not murderers. It has always been our way to respect life. Please, I don't want that to change, no matter what happens. I'll come back for both of you soon, I promise. We'll be here waiting, Cutter. That is my promise. Oh, hush, beloved. Wolf riders! We face the final trial. When next we rest, it will be in the foothills at Sorrow's End. Sorrow's End, a name aptly chosen, for somehow the two of the faithful wolves dropped dead in their tracks, and several exhausted riders must be strapped to their mounts. Sticky page again. The wolf riders reach the mountains. Among the rocks there is shade, and here wander wonderfully strange plants unlike any Cutter's folk have ever seen. Seem to thrive without any source of moisture. Ow! Ah, it's wet. Ha! Leave it to Cutter. He found us plants that store their old water. Thanks. Moments later. Cutter, will you please collapse? You're entitled. Not yet. The juice from those sticker plants is not enough for us. All right, I suppose you won't sit still till you've found us a blasted waterfall. Cutter and Skywise prowl the rocky foothills in search of the hidden wellspring. For a moment they separate as Skywise pauses to examine his sorely reddened skin. Sunburn is something new to him, but at the mental cry from Cutter, all else is forgotten. Skywise, up here, quickly. What is it? Shh. Look. Elves. Elves. I can't believe it. They have water and food. Look at them. Who could have known elves just like us? No, not like us, Skywise. They seem more like humans to me. They have no wolves, no tree houses, and they live in the sun as men do. I don't trust them. You don't think they'd help us if we asked? We're not going to ask. I learned a hard lesson from the trolls. From now on, the wolf riders take what they need, and no reasons given. While Cutter makes his plans, the unsuspecting villagers go peacefully about their daily routine. Rayek, please, you'll make me spill the water. How long will you torment me, Lita? I have asked you to be my life mate. Any maiden here would say yes. Then why pursue me, my arrogant one? Because you are the only one worth having. Oh, you're holding me too tight. Let me catch my breath, and I'll give you an answer. Very well. Well then, I release you. Wah, Leda! Hiya! It is true that the desperation gives rise to desperate action. Sometimes, sadly, even when there is no need. But the wolf riders know nothing of civilized ways. Ick! My bread! My fresh-baked bread! Or of trust for strange elves whose existence they had not even imagined. Never point a weapon, Black Hair, unless you know how to use it. Yet thou, driven by savage hunger and half mad with thirst, Cutter is brought up short by a pair of glittering eyes as green as fresh young leaves. The maiden stands, rigid, fear and wonder playing across her exquisite features, and Cutter suddenly knows a different kind of thirst as he drinks in the sight of her. What, what do you want? Later! As swiftly as they descended moments ago. Ayoo! The wolf riders sweep to Cutter's side, laden with all the food and drink they are able to carry. Excuse me, but... Huh? Oh, it doesn't look like you're carrying much water. I'll explain later. Oh, higher ground. On higher ground. Whoops. Recovering from their shock at the unexpected attack, the villagers prepare to retaliate. Someone tell me what has happened. I hear strange voices shouting. Barbarians, Sun Toucher, riding huge fanged beasts. They've taken Lita. My daughter! Save her, Rayek. You must. Raid at Sorrow's End Part 2. Angry villagers swarm into the high hills where the wolf riders have taken refuge. But the strenuous climb begins to take its toll, and few are able to keep pace with the agile Rayek. Follow me, you laggards! Follow, for Lita's sake! They're a pretty soft lot. I doubt most of them will make it up here this far. Don't much like the look of that first one's eye. Maybe you better pick him off, Strongbow. No killing. Not if we can help it. Come on, you weaklings, climb! You are the mountain lion among us, Rayek. We can't keep up. Then go back to your gardens, dirt diggers. You're no use to me or to Lita. I'll save her myself. My, he's a persistent one. I'll give him that. Cutter, do you think she knows how to send? She might give away our position. No, she'd have done it long before now, if she could. But one thing's certain. She knows how to scream. Rayek pauses, his keen ears straining for the slightest hint of sound. Just one slip, barbarians, and I'll find you. But the raven-haired elf does not know that nothing is as silent as wolf riders hiding. That is usually. Skywise, she's biting me. Well, hit her. I can't do that. So tell her if she doesn't behave, you'll do something awful to her. Ow, like what? Let her wonder. Listen, I'm going to take my hand away, but if you scream, well, you won't like what will happen to you. Yay! I can't do that. That's why I passed on the last. Lita, I'm coming! Let me go, you savage, help! What now? Oh, wise one. Hey, I think we're going to have a visitor. Lita, where are you? If you've harmed her, barbarians, Calm down, black hair. She's fine. Hey? Rick, do something! Very strong, in fact. Release her, land rat, or I'll... No, I don't think so. Boo. Jackal leader. You're jackals. I said calm down. You're not impressing anyone. Let's have the pig poker, long face. Rick turns. You dare? And Pike stiffens like a wooden doll. Ugh. Whoa. This one can do more than send. Pin him down and cover his eyes. He may have other tricks. Pike, wake up. Lita's indignation gives way to sudden fright. Don't let them kill Rayek. Please, I'll do anything you say. Surprised, Cutter gently sets Lita on her feet. He gazes into her luminous eyes for a long, silent time, enchanted with the beauty he finds there. It is an alien beauty, yet something familiar, like the recurrence of the forgotten dream. I came to steal water, but I've had my heart stolen instead. Oh, love at first sight. Is technically what's going on here. It is kind of love at first sight for him. I don't know about for her yet. Not yet, anyways. Take your filthy hands off me, you wild dogs! By the lost dwelling of the High Ones, you'll pay for this. Hey, how's that? What? What do you know of the High Ones, Blackhair? Speak! You dare profane our ancient fathers? We are all descendants of the High Ones, stranger. Can you not see that? We are all the one race. I claim no kinship with this vermin. Quiet, Rayek. Who are you, pale ones? We are wolf riders from the faraway woodlands. For 3 days we have journeyed through the burning waste. You lie! No one can cross the desert and live. I will say one thing before I turn the page is they have like the little pet names for like call them black hair or pale one. I hope they don't update dialogue for the new series. I actually feel like they kind of need that stuff. Like, it's kind of like if you took away the stuff in, for example, Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls in general. Like, it doesn't have the same impact or weight if you modernize it, and it also doesn't make sense, honestly, for a fantasy universe, a universe that's supposed to feel like it takes place many, many years ago, where the tools they use for fighting are not guns, but as well as the clothing they wear is not the modern clothing we wear today, but it is clothing of more like medieval times and such, or the Dark Ages or something. It's the same with Lord of the Rings. That's why I don't like it when they modernize certain things. I honestly don't care as long as like it's done well, but at the same time, there's just certain like it'll feel weird too, because I remember they were saying using the arguments for Starfield when that came out, where they were talking about I know this is weird to talk about in the middle of this reading, where they were talking about how it makes more sense in the future for people to have, like they were talking about different genders and all that stuff. But like a fantasy like Elder Scrolls, that probably wouldn't make sense. But I feel like they're going to do that anyway. Even though something like Baldur's Gate exists, Baldur's Gate 3, and that technically does that same thing as like Cyberpunk, for example, or whatever, with the customization system and such. I don't think it really makes sense in certain fantasy series, especially when established the way they are. in knowing that the certain political struggle and such that they would have at that time would probably not match that of today's political struggle. So it would just seem weird to have something so out of place and out of character in general, unless it's made more naturally and subtly. Like, take for example, I don't know what to use for example, actually. I kind of hate it when there are certain stories where the characters, there's the true love by first sight, like, the Disney movies that I talked about it with this. Though I do really like Lita and Cutter together. Where they're already together, like, really quickly, and they only had a few conversations. Where I think, like, realistically, even though in the heat of the moment, of certain situations, like I was watching Jack Reacher and even Jack Ryan, ironically, both with Jack in the names, where the funny thing is they had one date, then it's like within the first couple episodes, and already they bang. It's like, I don't find that very realistic. I guess to a sense that maybe the heat of the moment, or maybe they really want to go at it. I don't know. That's not too unrealistic to an extent, but at the same time, it would make more sense if they were going out for a long time, or at least a couple of dates or so, even if they're not exactly the same. The movies, take a date at dinner, a nice place, not frickin' McDonald's, unless they frickin' love McDonald's or something weird like that. Yeah, or like really depending too, like on what you can afford too. Like maybe you can't afford something more pricey, and you gotta buy. You have to resort to a lower uh, uh, paying restaurant when it comes to the food prices and stuff. But yeah, I find that a little bit more realistic, as well as the chemistry between the characters. I think something, if you're going to do that, like, quickly romantic character thing, ironically Aladdin, even though those characters are really young, uh, but like they actually have good chemistry between each other, Aladdin and Jasmine. So something like that, if you're going to do it quickly, then something like that works. I mean, that's not to say that that stuff doesn't work in, say, Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan, or whatever, but still. I didn't know necessarily what to use as an example. Anyways, let's get back to the book and not talk about oh, the hell does that sound? Anyways, my throat. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I'm on the next page. Oops, I didn't turn the page. All right, here we are. Desert, eh? So that's what you call it. If it can't be crossed, how did your people get here, Black Hair? There are many questions to be answered. Now, come down to the village. My father, the Sun Toucher, will know if you are telling the truth, and if you are, we will help you as we can. And if you are not, from their hiding place on the other side of the hill, Moonshade, Rainsong, Clear Brook, Dewshine, and the children are brought into the strange elfin village, surrounded by curious onlookers. The sullen, wary wolf riders assemble before a gentle yet commanding figure. Call me the Sun Toucher. I do not see with my eyes, wolf riders, for I gave them up to the almighty Daystar many years ago. But the heart can learn to see more deeply than the eye. Let me look at you now. For a moment there is a silence. Then the Sun Toucher softly smiles. I sense great weariness and hidden sorrow for the loss of all that you have known. Your days have been perilous, yet you have endured them with courage and ferocious will to survive. Life and all that it means is precious to you. Marissa, because your number is small. Suddenly, Cutter remembers. Red Lance, Nightfall. Forgive me, Sun Toucher. We have to leave two of us behind. We had to leave two of us behind in the desert. One was injured, perhaps dying. I've got to go back for them before it's too late. But you are exhausted, young chieftain, and so is your beast. No matter. If there is a healer among the villagers who dares follow me, let him do so now. I'm going. Wait, Wolf Rider. I am a healer. Lita, what are you saying? You can't go with him. I forbid it. You forbid? Rig is taken back as much by his own fierce possessiveness as by Lita's icy stare. He apologizes and offers instead to accompany her, aware that he dares not leave her alone with Cutter. The pale, feral-eyed barbarian has had a strange effect upon Lita, an effect that not even she fully understands. Tam, why has that strange word embedded itself in my mind? What does it mean? But Cutter has only one concern now, one thing that drives him on, though his strength is all but spent. Away, Ravager! Leave us alone! Alone forever. Oh, Nightfall! Cutter! Oh, Cutter! Who is she? Shh! This maiden can help Redlance. You must trust her. Lita kneels beside the stricken wolf rider. Tenderly she takes his hand in hers and discovers the unthinkable. These wounds were deliberately inflicted. Who could have done such a thing? Humans. The same ones who tried to destroy us with fire. Really? We have legends of such creatures, but I never believed them. You're looking at their handiwork right now. Silence, hisses Rayek. The healing begins. Not a word spoken, nor a sound uttered, yet great power is invoked as Lita passes into dreamlike trance. Beneath her gentle ministering fingers, cracked bones began to knit, torn tissues mend, and hidden bleeding subsides. Redlance's reawakened heart beats angrily now, staving off death with a fierce will. I have even given him the strength he needs to recover. And you have given me back a tribesman. No words of thanks could say enough, beautiful Lita. No, don't. I don't want you to touch me again. Rayek. Later. Redlance lives, thanks to your daughter. I hope that someday she will forgive me for carrying her off like that. I did it without thinking, almost as though I had no choice. Perhaps there was no choice, right, Wolf Rider? We are the Sun Folk, and ours is the way of peace. We would have freely given you the provisions which you took by force, but you came to us in violence. You are welcome now to stay here and rest. No one has ever been kind to us before. We thought we were all alone in a world where life was short and often bitter. Your hardships have caused you to forget what it means to be elves. Come now, all of you. It is time you were brought before the Mother of Memory. Come on. Bewildered, but no longer suspicious, the Wolf Riders follow Suntoucher to the largest building in the village. Strange, colorful symbols cover its clay walls, conveying a message of peace and brotherhood. Enter. She is waiting. A slender figure seated in a misty pool of light beckons the Wolf Riders forward. Cutter's breath catches in his throat as a low, languid voice breaks the silence. Welcome, my ragged young visitors. Welcome to Sorrow's End. To be continued. All right. Sit up. The next story is The Challenge, story by Wendy and Richard Penny, art by Wendy Penny. Excuse me. Okay. Who's coughing? I should probably stick on one series. This is a long ass bunch of books to cover. So I don't know how, like, let's see. Hold on a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Alright. And I do have volume 2. I have volumes 6 and 7 as well, but I need to pick up the other 3. 2 of them are at my local comic book store, but they do not have the 5th volume, I believe. So I will have to either have them order that for me, or I can try and get it on like Amazon or something. That would probably work better. Jeez. Let's see. Man, I have a lot to frickin' read. Goddamn, I'm intimidated by how much I left myself to read. So, yeah. I think I will do a Elfquest book a day. So, probably have 18 parts or so. And yeah, this was episode 2. Next time we will follow up on The Challenge. And I will do a book a day for at least volume 1. I will decide when I move on to volume 2, and then the rest. I'll have to put them in their own playlist as well. So yeah, there's still other stuff I want to read. Of course, I want to catch up on Beastars. There's tons of books. I want to do the Conan the Barbarian, The Witcher, so many. Elric, Lord of the Rings, all sorts of stuff. Let's see how The Witcher is. Okay. Alright. It's not too bad. Okay, and then I want to do the Mass Effect, Bloodborne, and so on comics too. as well as the Splinter Cell comics, and then the books as well too, and the Halo books. So many goddamn books. Because I also got the Wheel of Time. I got some Brandon Sanderson series, some other manga, though those will just be mostly started, but I might not be able to finish them for quite a while. So keep that in mind. But I can finish Beastars because I do have all the books in that series. But yeah, I do have a lot of books that are complete. Let's put these down here so that they are out of the way. There we go. Yeah, there is a lot to goddamn read. And I gotta still finish the Dragons of Del Toro book. So there's that too. Just adjusting things right now. Okay. And there are still games to be played too that I want to play for the channel. Will this fall over? I'm not sure. Gotta be careful in case it does. Yeah. Put that there. There's a goddamn, yeah, there's a lot of goddamn books I gotta catch up on. I feel like these are gonna fall over. Let me check if my friend Dave is on at all. Let's check that. Then I am ending the stream. But, yeah. I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. If you did enjoy, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below. Let me know how I'm doing. And I hope you have an awesome day. Okay, Dave is online on Discord. He has not said anything. Now to check Xbox. And I will see you later. Whoops, I didn't mean that. I gotta find the right sword, by the way, for my cutter character that I made. So I'm gonna have to find like a curved blade, maybe a knife or something. Maybe the one that comes with the special blade that comes with the Brotherhood, the Dark Brotherhood. Maybe that one. Let's see. Okay, Dave is not online on Xbox. Okay, so he's online on Discord, but he's not online on Xbox. All right, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, and have an awesome day.